Very much.
Thanks for being here in person. I want to start by talking about former President Trump's rhetoric in these closing days of the campaign. He's been intensifying his attacks against his opponents. Take a listen to a little bit of what he's had to say.
It is the enemy from within, and they're very dangerous. We have China, we have Russia, we have all these countries. If you have a smart president, they can all be handled. The more difficult are, the Pelosi's, these people, they're so sick and they're so evil.
Senator, the enemy from within, is that a winning closing message for the former president?
Well, we do have enemies within. We've got an Afghan national who's going to attack us on Election Day. But as to the Democratic agenda, I think it will change America fundamentally. That they want to pack the court, they want to go to 13-9, they want to eliminate the Electoral College. They want to make D.C. and Puerto Rico states. So, yeah, I think their agenda is really radical. But when you talk about rhetoric, you got to remember they tried to blow his head off. There's one candidate in this race who's been shot at and hit in the ear, and we're lucky they didn't blow his head off, and another guy tried to kill him the next week. So I'm not overly impressed about the rhetoric game here.
But just to be clear, first of all, you're talking about the Afghan national who was radicalized after he got here.
Within.
But he's talking about the Democrats. You say they.
Yeah.
Who are you talking about when you say they?
I'm talking about the Democratic agenda
because you know that those are still under investigation.
The Democratic agenda they're going to push for this country turns our country upside down. It fundamentally changes who we are as a nation, and we're going to stop it. We're going to stop it at the ballot box.
But Senator, is that type of rhetoric the way to win over undecided, disaffected Republicans?
We're winning and going to win, not because of what Donald Trump's saying, but because of what they've done for 4 years. You know why Donald Trump is going to win this election? 70% of the people think we're going in the wrong direction. And when Vice President Harris is asked, what would you do different? She says nothing comes to mind. The American people are not going to tolerate 4 more years of affordability crisis, a world on fire, a broken border, energy dependence. Trump's going to win because they have failed the American people. They're trying to disqualify him. Have you heard lately, let me tell you why you should vote for me because I'm going to make your life better? No, it's all about Trump. They got no other game to play.
Let me tell you what retired 4-star General Mark Milley, someone who you have praised in the past, has had to say about Donald Trump. Of course, he's Donald Trump's former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He told Bob Woodward in a new book, quote, "No one has ever been as dangerous to this country as Donald Trump. Now I realize he's a total fascist, a fascist to the core. Why shouldn't voters trust Donald Trump's top general on this, Senator?"
He has a right to his opinion. But this is the man who oversaw 20 years of training of the Afghan-Iraqi army that folded like a cheap suit. I like General Milley, but I disagree with him. You know what I fear? I fear 4 more years of Biden-Harris policy. I fear holding Israel back so they can't win the war they have to win to survive. I fear 4 more years of holding Ukraine back, 4 more years of broken borders, 4 more years of not drilling for oil and gas, 4 more years of high food prices. The threat to the world is the policies of this administration. To General Milley, you have a right to your opinion, but I don't fear Donald Trump. I fear what's going on in the world today. If you want the world to stay on fire, vote for her. If you want to keep paying high prices for everything it costs to live, vote for her.
But Senator, but you've known General Milley for years. You've said you have deep admiration and total confidence.
I think he's wrong.
John Kelly, his former chief of staff, has said that former President Trump was telling him to go after his opponents repeatedly. Here he was always telling me that we need to use the FBI and IRS to go after people. It was
these are
constant and
Democratic
obsessive.
talking points. I think they're wrong.
He's the former chief of staff.
I think they're wrong. I think they're totally wrong. It was Joe Biden who got us out of Afghanistan that led to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. It was Kamala Harris, the border czar, that opened up our border to 10 million illegal immigrants running wild, women getting raped and killed, terrorists residing in our backyard. It was their decision to stop energy production, making us more energy independent. It was their decision to abandon Israel at their time of need when it came to weapons.
But, Senator, the U.S. is making more energy than
I think these generals are wrong.
But they worked for Donald Trump.
You know what? I know,
they worked for former President Trump. These are former Trump administration
to every Republican
officials.
supporting her, what the hell are you doing? You're supporting the most radical nominee in the history of American politics. The Green New Deal, Medicare for all. She was the last person in the room before Biden decided to withdraw from Afghanistan. She was the border czar. She cast the tie-breaking vote for the Inflation Reduction Act that gives you high prices. What are you doing? You're trying to convince me that Donald Trump's rhetoric is the danger to this country. The danger to this country is the policies of Biden and Harris. Her fingerprints are all over this disaster, and I can't take 4 more years of this crap.
All right.
When you support her, you're supporting 4 more years of garbage policy.
Senator, we got a lot more to get through, so let me keep moving. I want to ask you about
what the hell are you doing as a Republican blessing this stuff?
I want to ask you about January 6th, which did come up at a town hall this week. That's why I want to ask you about it. A voter said Trump had lost his vote. He asked Trump, win back my vote. Trump called it a day of love. Senator, you were there for January 6th. Lawmakers running for their lives. More than 140 law enforcement officials injured that day. Some were beaten with baseball bats and flagpoles. Is that what you consider a day of love, Senator?
Most people didn't enter the Capitol. The ones who did need to be punished. Most people came up there, thought the election was stolen. At the end of the day, the people who broke into the Capitol being punished, I support that. But here we are 16 days from the election, and you haven't asked me one question about how Kamala Harris is going to get America on the right track.
Well, I'm going to talk
because
to Josh
she has
Shapiro
no plan.
I'm going to talk to Josh Shapiro about that, but
wait a minute, wait a minute.
Trump.
You're trying,
you're
all the questions have
Trump.
been about Donald Trump's rhetoric. They haven't been about how do we make America safe and prosperous again. They have no plan. President Trump does.
But Senator, just to a day of love. We're going to get to foreign policy, but I just
heard
to a
exactly
day of
what
love.
you
Do you
heard.
agree with that? Do you agree? Was it a
The
day
people
of love?
there, most people there didn't attack the Capitol. They came out of love of the country. The people who did attack the Capitol, you know, they're in jail. That's where they need to be.
160 people have pleaded guilty for their
Why is
actions that
Trump
day.
doing so well?
Let me ask you about the Middle
Because
East.
people have lost hope in her changing their lives.
Let me ask you about the Middle
East. They
East.
see President Trump's the best chance to get back on track.
Senator,
that's why he's going to win.
All right, let me ask you about the Middle East and the developments significant this week. Of course, Israel announced that it did kill the leader of Hamas, Yahya Sinwar. President Biden on Friday said this is an opportunity to end the war. Do you agree with him? Is there a window here to end the war?
There's a window here not only to end the fighting, but to replace Hamas forever. And the way you do that is you have normalization between Saudi Arabia and Israel. With the death of Sinwar, the door is now open to not only find a way to get Israel to turn over Gaza and eventually Lebanon, but to have it replaced by an Arab coalition offering a better life to the Palestinians. I've never been more hopeful that normalization between Saudi Arabia and Israel is possible. I've been working with the Biden administration for a year and a half. I think we're very close.
Wow, very quickly. Are you anticipating there will be a counterattack by Israel against Iran soon, Senator?
Yes.
How soon?
Very.
Very soon. Within a matter of hours,
I don't have
days?
any direct knowledge, but I know they're serious about hitting back. I think it will be soon. I think it will be a hard hit. But again, the more you can diminish Iran, Hezbollah, and Hamas, better for the region. I think a normalization deal between Saudi Arabia and Israel, which is the key, is more possible than ever.
Senator Lindsey Graham.
Thank you.
Always great to see you.